Former Chelsea star Jeremy has filed for divorce after DNA tests allegedly show that the two children that were supposedly his were fathered by his wife's ex. According to court papers in Cameroon, the retired midfielder, age 45, stated that the father of the couple's twins is his wife Laurie's previous husband and not the former footballer. The documents, which were leaked to the media, alleged that, quote, she destroyed the harmony of their marriage through her objective behavior and repeated lies. The twins were born in June of 2008, 4 years before the couple tied the knot. The court papers added, quote, no children have been born from this union, and the discovery that the children were from her previous partnership destroyed the couple's harmony. Former star stated that his wife has, quote, psychologically damaged him, with the revelation causing a huge emotional shock. He described the revelation, which came following a paternity test, as a serious and renewed violation of the duties and obligations of marriage. So this is one of the many reasons why I make some of the posts that I, list. And one of the community posts that I gave directly to you guys stated this: 11.8% in Mexico, and this is dealing with the paternity results when it deals with men not being the father of those children. 11.8% Mexico, 4% in Canada, 2.8% in France, and 1.4% and 1.6% in the UK, and 0.8% in Switzerland. These numbers suggest that the widely quoted and unsubstantiated figure of 10% of non-paternal events is an overestimate. However, in studies that solely looked at couples who obtained paternity testing because paternity was being disputed, there are higher levels. Incidence of 17% to 33%, medium of 26.9%. Most at risk were those born to younger parents, to unmarried couples, and those of lower socioeconomic status or from certain cultural groups. Another significant study in 2023 featured in family relations focused on men mandated by courts to undergo paternity testing. The study found a substantial 12% were not biological fathers, emphasizing social factors like lower socioeconomic status and non-Caucasian ethnicity influencing non-paternity rates. The next one, Jamaica. They found that 12.1% of females ages 18 plus indicate knowingly, incorrectly ascribing fatherhood to a male, and 30.1% of the sample females indicated that they would not have DNA testing done on their child. Statistically, in DNA paternity testing, most times in Nigeria, we see that 6 out of every 10 children might not be fathered by their biological father. Another cell biologist and geneticist based in Lagos, who did not want to be named because her company's policy corroborated Salami's claims. Findings revealed that 11% were not the biological fathers of the children they were raising. This study unveiled variations in non-paternity rates across demographics, with higher prevalence among men in their 20s and 30s, those unmarried to their mothers, and those with shorter relationships. How common is paternity fraud in the United States? It is difficult to assess how frequently paternity fraud occurs in the United States. Still, a 1999 American Association of Blood Banks report found that 30% of DNA paternity tests done in the United States comes back negative. Again, this is why I've stated and I highly advocate for DNA tests to be mandatory. Out of the whole story, out of the little snippet that you were able to hear, the main thing is the fact that the woman knows who the father of the children is. They always know. And it doesn't matter if you were a fling, doesn't matter if you are a boyfriend, doesn't matter if you're a fiance, doesn't matter if you are the husband. At the end of the day, the woman always knows who the father is. The guy never knows. And in a lot of these instances, just like the example that was given, women know who the father actually is. And this is why you have a lot of women that are so adamant about not wanting to get a DNA test, because you will find out here across the world that a lot of women are complete liars, complete deceivers when it deals with who is the actual father. In one instance, from an article that I read, they stated that they were afraid in one area around the world to actually make DNA testing mandatory because of the fear that DV cases would skyrocket. Just think about that. Now, as I stated before, um, to do something like this is atrocious. And the fact that you have a lot of women who allow other women to get away with this craziness, with this madness, is completely insane. And to know that you have people encouraging this type of behavior. I've literally seen posts online where people have stated that, well, guys, no matter if you find out that the child is not yours, that's still a child at the end of the day, and the child only knows you, and you need to be there for the child, and yada, yada, yada. It's crazy. It's crazy, and it's insane that even when a man is wronged, he is not allowed to just be in that feeling. He's not allowed to, just go through that. He still has to push everything to the side and quote unquote do what's right, because everybody else is saying that, no, you're a man, you gotta do what's right. You don't have time to be in your emotions. You don't got time to really think this through. You don't got time to actually feel nothing. You need to be there as the father that you've always been for these kids that are not there, not yours. You need to sit up there and be there for them. Like I said, this is insane. And for things like this to not get the same energy that I normally get from a lot of other videos that I do, it's quite telling. It lets me know a lot. And it shows me the amount of bias that a lot of people have. And this is why I continuously state that people talk about wanting equality, but they're not actually about that life. They're not about that life. Because I'm about the life of, if somebody does wrong, then they get treated the exact same way. So if men find out that these women have lied and they pinned kids on them that are not theirs, they've had to pay tons of child support for children or a child that is not theirs, by all means, start throwing and locking up a lot of these women. I promise you, if at any moment in time paternity tests were made mandatory and men were allowed to go back and get paternity tests on their children, these prisons would be filling up within weeks. If it was a jailable or a prison type of offense, oh, the system will be full to the brim. Full to the brim. But like I said, they're not going to do that. And people are only going to focus on one side of the story. People will only sit up there and say, well, maybe she had to cheat because, it was something that was missing, something he wasn't doing. It had to be his fault. Maybe if he was there more emotionally, things like this wouldn't happen, right? That's the normal, go to. Or some people want to deflect, and I'm like, well, it's sad that this happened, but what about all the other men that did X, Y, and Z? Right? People will just start going on a whole, ramble, tirade, trying to talk about all other types of situations that have nothing to specifically do, with this story. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about the story and everything listed in the comment description below. And as always, peace, love, and stay tuned for the next video.